welcome to Tarmac. I'm Dave.
And I'm Matthew, and the car behind us sports three of the most important letters in the Volkswagen family.
That's right, it's the Mark 8.5 Golf GTI. Come, let's take a look at this. Now, 1974 was a big year. President Nixon was resigned because of the Watergate scandal. The Germans won the soccer or football World Cup, and Ali and Foreman were having a little bit of a fumble or rumble in the jungle. So there was lots going on. But the other big thing was the Golf was released. So 1974, 50 years ago. And 50 years later, now we've got the 8.5 version of it. So kind of come out at exactly the right time. I would say serendipitous. What's happening with this 8.5 facelift model is the fact of round the front here we have a big mark of this Volkswagen sign here. So this actually illuminates. The front here does illuminate as well, and the lights themselves are now narrower and more squinty, but does still give you plenty of light out the front. The bumper across the front here is also a little bit more extended, a little bit more sort of bulky looking, and the hexagonal shapes are there as they have been for a number of years. And also that means that the down the bottom here is where there's a lot more of sort of the radar, all that sort of stuff, LiDAR, that's basically making sure that the driver alerts and ADAS systems work very well. But not a bad looking front and very GTI-ish. As far as the profile goes for this GTI, or GTI, just in case you forget, there's just a little bit of sporty trim down the bottom here, down the sills. Everything else is body color, and as you can see, we've got a grey. I think there's 2 or 3 different grades. We're trying to work out whether it's Arano or Dolphin. To me, it looks very dolphiny, but don't get me started on those. And also the wheels here, very much 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sort of spokey things, but they're called Queenstown wheels, and they are 19 inches with incredibly thin rubber, so really look great from there. There is a sunroof up the top here, and everything else is very much color coded, apart from this black trim, which contrasts really well. In fairness, the rear is just the same as the last one in terms of shape, style, and all that sort of stuff. So it does still have the Volkswagen badge that opens up the trunk, and also twin exhaust, which will lead to the engine. The only thing that's different is the lights, or the rear lights, and they're so subtle that only a Wookiee would recognize what's different with them. Anyway, let's look under the bonnet. Now, excuse this big strut here. It doesn't have gas struts, which I think is still a sort of headache or a hangover from the COVID days of limited stuff. But anyway, what we have here is a 2-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder engine mated to a 7-speed DCT. Together, it gives you 195 kilowatts of power and 370 newton meters of torque. And it does all go down to those front 2 wheels via, I think the suspensions are DCC, but anyway. Also, in terms of speed, 0 to 100 is 5.7 seconds, so it is very nippy. And also, in terms of efficiency, 8 litres per 100 kilometres. And I don't know about the grams out the back. I think it's 187, something like that. But who cares? We just want to drive this car. So once Matthew's shown you what's inside there, then we'll take it for a spin. So hopefully he's quick.
Now, not only is this the Mark 8.5 Golf GTI, but our one comes in spec'd with the touring package as well on top of it. So what that brings is seat heating and ventilation for the front 2 seats. You do get electronic adjustment for the driver as well as lumbar adjustment. It brings a head-up display. There's also this opening glass sunroof. You also get a Harman Kardon premium audio system as well as part of that, not to mention the Vienna leather seats themselves. So they really have highly spec'd this car with that touring package on top of the regular car. But the real mark of a Golf GTI are those things there, the red stitching, for example. Well, yes, present on the seats in plenty. It's also got that sort of gray and black color as well, colors that have been familiar with the Golf GTI, although it is missing any sort of red stitching, if you like, along the dashboard or the sides, steering wheel excluded, of course. But because this is a Mark 8.5 Golf GTI, it doesn't need red outlines and things there. Instead, you have 30 different options for your ambient lighting, so you can select the red to go with that GTI theme. Speaking of the GTI theme, these Vienna leather seats are really comfortable actually. They've got good support for your shoulders, good support for your lower back, and decent sized bolsters to hold you in place when you're really going for those B-road corners. I have to say though, the wingback is quite wide, so it could be a little bit claustrophobic for the passengers in the back, but who cares about them, right? Because it's all about the front in a Golf GTI. Now, as much as it is sporty and there's red highlights and all of those things, a hallmark of the Golf GTI has been always been a well-rounded car. And so you've got the two cup holders down the middle, you've got storage space under your armrest here, you've got generous sized door cubbies which are also lined with felt to make things quiet when you're driving around. You've got a little nook there for wireless charger for your phone, another spot over here, good sized glove box. It's really got it all. It does so well all around. And I think this Mark 8.5 is gaining some of that lost ground back from the Mark 8, which really pleases me as a former Golf GTI owner. Of course, I had to drop that in there. In the middle, Volkswagen have added a 12.9-inch infotainment screen, which is their new sort of Discover Media system. You've got these slide controls now, while still there, are actually lit up, so at night you can see what you're doing rather than be operating them blindly. The other key thing with this screen is the interface is all new, as you can see there. You've got the bar down the bottom with, of course, the seat heating and ventilation shortcuts there as part of this touring package. You've got the navigation there, your audio input in the car, but really the main area we want to look at is this button here that says mode. Now, if you click on that, it shows you the three basic drive modes you have in the car. So you have Eco, which is optimized obviously for more fuel saving, as you can see there. You've got Comfort for generally your everyday driving sort of stuff. And then you've got Sport for when you really want to tackle those back roads and possibly some track work as well. The other thing is, if you take a look at the individual, there is just so much of customization available in this Mark 8.5 Golf GTI. So thanks to the DCC, Dynamic Chassis Control, you can set up the car with a sort of balance, whether you want it in between comfort, sport, or you want it to be really hardcore sport, or vice versa with comfort. And not just that, if you scroll down, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different options to essentially customize and set up the car how you want. So not just in the air conditioning, adaptive cruise control, your engine noises as well. There is just so much available to play around with over here. And that's before you start going into the options of the ambient lighting and all of those things as well. So plenty going on the screen here, as is on the screen in front of the driver. Now, the screen in front of us, Dave has had set up in a more traditional look. So you've got the twin gauges and you've got your maps in the background there. But it does show you so much, and impressively, despite everything, he's been averaging 7.5 liters per 100 Ks, which is pretty amazing. You can toggle around, of course, with what you see in front of you by pressing the very sort of straightforward Germanic type button which says view. So you click that and it changes the gauges on there. Click that again and you get a really sporty looking one which says GTI in the middle and a big red rev counter there. Now, if I head back to this screen here, I can also select what I see within each gauge on the left or right hand side by pressing these buttons and essentially just going back and forth in terms of what information I want to see. So again, plenty of customization there. And one thing I forgot to mention is you do get steering wheel heating as well as part of that touring package. The steering wheel itself, of course, a really nice leather wrapped unit in signature GTI style, has got red stitching. You've got those chunky thumb grips, a flat bottom, and the GTI badge down the bottom as well, just to remind you of what sort of legacy you've got in your hands here.
Okay, so I think it would be unfair for me to be in this Golf GTI and not let the, in theory, Golf GTI aficionado drive the car. So over to you, Matt, and we'll see how we get on. I'm terrified.
I think the last time I reviewed a Golf GTI, I ended up saying those 3 words like 50, more than 50 times.
Golf GTI, Golf GTI. As you should watch it, it's quite funny. We counted them. If you took a shot for each time he said it, you would be absolutely bluted. But anyway.
I've got to say, this new car, there's something that reminds me of the GTIs of old with this new car, with the Mark 8.5. Something that I felt was missing with the Mark 8. There is almost the character, the sense of fun, that seems to have come back with this car. It feels lively to drive. The steering is great. Yeah, so far nothing but good things to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, when I've driven it, once I got the keys off of Matt, the suspension or the chassis is so strong that if you throw it into corners, it will kick its rear its tire up and just really wants to play hard, and that's got to be a good thing for a GTI. It is. I just want to point out that I was a GTI owner back in the actually Mark 2s or Mark 3 ages, so if any of you can remember those.
For me, a bit more recent, I owned a Mark 6, but again, that just draws exactly what's so important about this badge, right? As Dave and I grew up in very different eras and countries as well, but
as you pointed out, I've seen the whole of that. all 8.5s come out. Shut up, you.
But despite that, we have a car and a nameplate that, draws us together, and I think safe to say for both of us, and even Harry, who isn't here today, invokes fond memories of youth, of driving fun, of enjoyment, all of those things. It's a universal sports car in a way.
Well, the thing is, I mean, it's been a benchmark since it was first launched, and the Golf itself's been a benchmark, and obviously then the GTI has been a crazy benchmark as well. So if you wanted a hot hatch, everything's measured against those, or this.
That's right. In terms of its ability to do everything, to do these corners like this, and well, I'm not even pushing the car if I'm honest, or daily drive it. The GTI does it so well in a way that I don't think I've found in any other car. Yes, I'm in the sport mode right now. Suspension is as firm as it can be, all of that stuff, but you can tone everything down and take this car to work in, everyday traffic, and it still feels just as special in a way.
You can, but I still think that in comfort mode, it's still got quite a firm chassis, and you can still have fun in comfort, if there's such a word.
It's not just the sportiness and the driving feel, I think, that the GTI has always been so good at, but it's also been the little things on the inside, the comfort, the audio quality, the fit and finish, all of those things. And I think, again, this Mark 8.5 does well when you rank all of those things. I mean, Dave and I are enjoying these comfortable Vienna leather seats. We quite like the red stitching and the red highlights around. It gives it a sporty flair that a car like this deserves, I think.
But the hell with that. It's just about driving fast and enjoying it. What's the point of having a GTI if you're going to drive it slowly? And here's some corners, so let's just have a little bit of fun. When it does, it drops the gears down. It does rev match as far as it goes, and it just corner and grips so nicely that honestly, it's something that takes me back to my youth, and that was a long time ago.
8.5 Golf generations ago.
So there you have it, the new Golf GTI 8.5, and the 0.5 really does make the difference. It's ironed out this sort of quirks that the Generation 8 had that people didn't like, and good on them. They've really have adapted and changed things. It is sportier, it is faster, and it's also got a little red badge that lights up at night. So big thumbs up, and take me back to the 80s. God damn it.
In a way, it feels like it's the spirit of GTI, that sort of enthusiast that's always lived behind this badge, that has come back with this Mark 8.5, and I'm really glad to say that it does drive well, it is fun, and your 80s tunes would sound great through the audio system.
Got to play them. Anyway, give me the bloody keys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. See ya.